Okay, hello. I'm going to demonstrate how I bead these eggs. I'll show you my supplies. I have medium silver wire. I have very fine silver wire I probably will not use. And I have medium black, which I think I will use because my eggs are black and orange. And I'm going to skip beading number 1 because I think this is the one Brittany wants. So I'm going to just start with number 2 here. And I have what are called findings. And you put one of these on the top of the egg and one of these on the bottom. The tools I'm going to be using is I need a smaller one of these, but I have like kind of a needle nose pliers. I have a wire cutter, nice one. And I have a nice teeny tiny little tweezers for the beads. And I showed you the findings. I will probably put one of these on the top and the bottom of the egg. And then I have crimps, so I can crimp my wire. And then I have an assortment of beads. And I have some little tricks. I use a lid like this to hold the little pieces in so they don't roll off my table. So I'll put in here, you know, what I'm going to use. Whoops, and then they don't roll off the table. Now I'm probably not going to use these bright gold ones just because the colors on my eggs are not bright gold. I think we're going to be using kind of the darker colors. I'm probably going to find some black beads to go on these. I have an assortment of beads that I've collected over the years. And so what I'll do is I'll pick out some that I think might work. And then I will show you how we do this. So here we go with the top and the bottom. And the first part of getting the wire through the egg is potentially the most difficult part of the task. Now you can just stick the wire in the hole and hope to get it out the other side. But I found that doesn't work so great for me. So I have this little, it was a syringe, the back part of it, it doesn't have a needle, but it has, I can stick the wire in there. So I can get this, because it's firm, I can get this to go from one hole to the other. And if I can't, I can look down the barrel of, I can line up the hole here and the hole here with my light. And I can look down the barrel of this and line up the end of this syringe, because actually this poor syringe, got it through. This went through my garbage disposal by accident, so it's no longer straight and perfect. But I'll put my black wire, I'll feed that into the end of this syringe. And I'm sure there are other techniques of doing this, but oh, come on. I had to take my glasses off, I can't see. And I will stick the little black wire right into the syringe. And I can just push it on through. It'll go all the way through the other end of this syringe, except that now it's bent too much. It used to go all the way through. And see, now I can pull my syringe out, and look, my egg has been, I've got a wire through both ends. How easy is that? It's wonderful. So I'll put my syringe away for later, and then I find a clip. This is a little plastic, what I call a roach clip. I don't really know. I had 3 of these, and 2 of them went missing, but this one I found. And I usually put that on the end so that I don't accidentally draw that wire right back out. And before I cut the wire, I usually just work on one end. before I ever cut the wire. It's just easier for me to, you know, so I know that that wire is not coming. Now I put the finding onto the wire, and do you see how that lines up with the bottom of the egg? So I'll have one on each end, like that. There'll be one on the top, one on the bottom. Okay. So now the next step for me is to find a little crimp. And like I told you, I think I'm going to use these darker crimps this time. And I'm going to use the tiniest ones I can get away with. Hopefully the wire will go through twice, because I want to hide the tail of this wire in the egg. And that way I don't have a visible wire coming out the side somewhere where I don't want it. So my little crimper thing here, I'm going to pick out, I think I'm just going to pick the browns because they tend to go with the finding pretty well. I got my phone plugged in, so I'm not going to pick it up and show you, but those coordinate pretty well. So then I just go in there, and I have decided ahead of time that the easiest way to do this is to use the crimps as, for their intended purpose, is to crimp the wire together. But I'm also using them as a design element, and I'm putting on several. I only need one or two, but if I put on several, they become like beads. And if I don't smash them with the pliers, they're nice little brown beads, which I like. And I did not select my beads yet, so I may just pause this. I wonder if I can just pause this. I think I can. Pause it and resume. Okay, I'm really glad I could pause that because I'm looking at the way I have organized my beads and changed my mind altogether. It took me forever to pull out the beads that I want to use. So I pulled out all the blacks and browns and a few oranges. You know, here's the orange. And the orange, I don't know if you can see, is not as intense as the orange on my egg. So it might just detract to have a different orange. It's already a high contrast. If I do have one over here that's a little lighter color orange, you know, to where that bead might go okay on this one. But even then, I think it's the wrong orange. So I might not use orange beads at all. I've got some lovely browns and blacks. And the fact that these are so high contrast already, the eggs themselves are high contrast. I don't want to detract from the focal point of the orange black on the egg. So I'm just kind of keeping it a dull brown black. You know, I might throw a little clear, flashy, you know, something sparkly in there, but I'm going to keep this pretty basic. And I have these little teeny tiny yellow beads. And I might put one of those on the end of the yellow, and these are kind of some orange and browns. At one point I had cause to sort them out, and here's another orange I might use just because it's clear and orange, and it might just be enough splash of orange. In fact, I think I kind of like that one actually. I'm going to put that one on right now. I'm going to put this little orange one on there. And now you can see the use of the little clip to hold the end so I don't lose it. Okay, so here's what I have so far. So I have kind of a clear bead with an orange center. Kind of pull some of the orange out of there. This light maybe just isn't in the right place for the video. We'll see. Then I'll take a few more of my little crimpers slash beads, because I do have brown beads, and I have to be very careful which ones are crimps and which ones are beads, because the crimps have a purpose. They are going to keep the wire pinched in place, and the beads, of course, cannot do that. So if I put a bead on thinking that it's going to pinch my wires together and it doesn't pinch, then I'm in a world of hurt. I have to start all over with the putting crimps on instead. So those are all crimps. They look like beads, but they're actually little metal pieces that can pinch together. So now maybe I'll take a black. I have tons of black. Yeah, that'll work. I'll put a black bead down there. That might not be too much. I don't want to do too much with this. I really don't want to take away from the what's going on with the egg. So I don't want to be so exciting down here that all you see is the beads, but I do want it to enhance the look. Okay, I do want a clear bead or two. And I am definitely going to do these different because it's a little hard to get these out. And there's too many in one container. Oh, there's some more black ones in there. Okay, that's good to know. So I have a little clear one down here. And we're just going to put him there. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then I will take just a tiny bead on the bottom. Maybe a little black one will work. And I won't run the wire back through there, but I'll run it through. I'm going to try to see if I can't run this wire through everything twice. And that way, you know, I end up with a loop here, which I will shorten up. I'm just going to run these through here. Okay, come on. Yes, indeed. To make sure the wire goes through everything. So I don't want a loop of wire sticking out for all the world to see. I want there to be basically very little evidence that there is a wire down here. I just want people to see the beads. And I've done this a number of ways, and I've kind of figured out what works for me. Okay, there we go. And I've got a little tail on there, and I'm just going to pull the long end. And this loop is going to kind of disappear like that. And so I do have a tail. If you can see, I've got the original wire, and then here's the second wire, and they've all gone through everything. And you can see I've got a large loop down here, but I'll pull this down and crimp it so that it's tight. Uh-oh. No, something's not right here. Oh no, see, now my little crimpers went inside the black bead. So the hole inside the black bead, I'm wasting all those crimpers. Okay, start all over, pause. Okay, so I took off all the beads back to my crimps because this large black bead is not going to work. The hole is too large. So that's a bummer. Okay, well, Oh, and I just realized I'm working on the top. Oh, I meant to do it the other way. Oh, this is kind of a waste of time here. Okay, I'm going to stop this video. Delete it.